What's good? What's good? What's going on? People boxing talk up north. It's your host. I'm your boy, Ryan Fraser. We got another one, man. We talking about Devin Haney, Boots Ennis, and Norman Jr. And the guy everybody likes to watch, man, but so nobody wants to fight right now, Tank Davis. It's kind of interesting to see how everything's playing out because just a year ago, I heard Coach Kenny Ellis, and this is not no shots by any means, but he said, "Stop calling Tank out. Stop calling his name." And he got his wish because nobody's calling, man. That's for sure. It's weird out here not hearing dudes go at Gervontay Tank Davis. We heard Shakur do it for a while, but he quickly backed up and he's got himself in a fight. And Devin Haney sounds like he's got himself in a fight too. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting, man. What's going on? Just do boxing. Peace, my guy. Appreciate you always supporting the channel. Good dude. I mean, if you guys ever get the opportunity, go over there and subscribe to his channel, man. He's a great guy. Yeah, man. But yeah, shout out to everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody. We definitely it's more like a lower week of boxing, it's not anything exciting. I know Diego Pacheco is gonna be fighting on Saturday. That's another dude we thought maybe Edgar Berlanga would fight. But he's another dude that if he could get a win, they're gonna put him in the Canelo sweepstakes because he is kind of fitting the bill. He's young, Mexican, Mexican American, and he's a good fighter. So he checks a few boxes for Canelo. But let's start with Devin Haney and Liam Paro. Just heard the news today. Apparently that fight's going down December 7th, I believe. Haney's heading back to Australia, man, and this is where a lot of stuff started for him, where he won his first undisputed fight. He went there twice. He had to go back in the rematch. And Cambosis basically brought him there twice. I heard Cambosis is a huge draw in Australia. So I was listening to TBV this morning, and there was actually an Australian caller who called in and said that Liam Paro is not known in Australia. So I hope this fight is not a pay-per-view fight. I hope they back up the undercard with some good names and get us interested so we could watch it, because I think Liam Paro is a good fighter. I know when he fought Subriel Matias, everybody thought Subriel was going to steamroll him. But if you go back and check my videos, I was the one saying he's probably going to give Matias a lot of problems. I didn't pick him winning the fight, but I picked it to be a hard fight. And Liam Paro, he definitely went into Puerto Rico, and he pulled off one of the biggest upsets, man, of this year so far. He won that fight, and he took the fight to the bully. That's what he needed to do. And I just thought he couldn't maintain it for 12 rounds, but he did. And he weathered the storms that came. Matias is a hard-hitting puncher. And Liam Paro showed us all that day, night, wherever you were, that he's an absolute dog, man. He got dog in him. So I was surprised by that. I know his corner did a good job in preparing him. I think it was like the 7th or 8th round. He had a bad round, and Matias, it looked like Matias was starting to turn the tide of the fight. And he was starting to get to Paro. And his corner literally they just brought him back down. They said, man, you went in the fight. You can't abandon the game plan. You got to continue doing what you're doing. They got him refocused. They let him reset, refocus, and he went out. And I think he probably gave up the next round after, but he won like the last 3-4 rounds. So shout out to Liam Paro for not only winning the IBF title off Subriel Matias, but now he gets to go back home, fight a home fight, and he's fighting against Devin Haney, which I don't know if this is a unification bout. I don't know if this is just for the IBF title, but it'll be interesting to see how this bout turns out, because we talk about unifications trump mandatories. That's very true. But what about Sandor Martin? Like, this guy has been waiting for a while. He's been waiting for his shot. Pollo was supposed to fight him. Devin Haney was champion in recess because he said he was gonna wait for Ryan Garcia to come back. So is this a unification bout, or is it just about belt for the IBF? Because if it's a unification bout, it means Devin Haney doesn't have to do the rehydration clause, you know. But if it is just the IBF, then this will be very, very interesting to see because Devin Haney will have to honor that. I think it's 10 or 15 pound weight rehydration clause, which people say Devin Haney's a weight bully. They say that not they don't say he's a cheater, but they just don't like the fact that he blows up in weight after his fights, or not after his fights, after the weigh-in. Sorry, there. Just gonna pop on this light here. If I can reach it. There we go. Oh shoot, I messed things up. Sorry, yo. All right, let's try this. Ugh, that didn't work. Sorry. Anyways, we'll keep that off. Yeah. So like Devin Haney, basically, he's in a big fight again, and this couldn't be a better comeback fight for him. Like he's right back in the mix. He's going against a champion. So he's back on that championship streak, and it's going to be interesting to see how Devin Haney and how he's received going back to Australia. You know, he beat Cambosis twice there. He's got to have some sort of a little fan base there now. And at the same time, Australia is going to be rooting for Liam Paro to be the guy who beat their guy, you know? So I think Liam Paro, he's got a big opportunity in front of him to not only transcend his name in all of boxing, but in his home country, man. He can be a breakout star like Tim Tszyu, George Kambosos. We've seen him bring Lomachenko over there to Australia, and Devin Haney. So this is a guy who can be a big star in his home country, and Australia seems to be paying money for boxing right now, and he can get a few hometown fights, man. And for Eddie Hearn, you know what I'm saying, this is, some people think this is Eddie Hearn setting up Devin Haney. I don't think that at all, man. I'm not looking at it that way. I'm not even picturing it like that because, to be honest, Devin Haney has never been loyal to Eddie Hearn. So Eddie Hearn is doing right by his guy Liam Paro, and he could be doing right by Devin Haney, but he's putting Devin Haney in another title shot. So I don't see how people are saying that, this is a setup. Like what, before the Ryan Garcia fight, this would have, like, Haney would have been a heavy favorite. And I don't think Liam Paro is punching the same way Ryan Garcia is. So I really don't think this is a underdog fight for Devin Haney, not the least, man. Devin Haney has been in the ring with way more better opponents than Liam Paro has. So people need to pump the brakes on Eddie Hearn is setting up Devin. It's not true, man. It's not even remotely true. It makes no sense. Like that theory is just something that's made up by somebody who's a Devin hater because or a Devin fan because they don't like Eddie Hearn. That's what it really is. But Eddie Hearn is actually looking out for both guys. It's a huge opportunity for Liam Paro. A lot of money, obviously a big money fight for him. And then Devin Haney, like he's right back in here at a world championship fight. And he continues that reign of fighting champions, He's a dude who's starting to rack up these names on his list. And who knows, man? He's very, very young, so he can still go fight like 10 more champions, win a bunch of belts. Maybe he does do undisputed at 140, but if that guy we're gonna talk about later on, Mr. Tank Davis, if he does fight Ryo, which is the rumor, then we can start talking about Devin Haney versus Tank again. But my approach on that is I haven't been talking about that fight because of Tank Davis and what he's been doing. What he's been saying is he's not going up in weight. He said, I'm too small. I'm not a big guy. So I always said, you know what? I'm not gonna pressure Tank Davis into that fight because he's talking his way out of it. So it sounds like he doesn't want it. But if he's gonna go up to 140 and fight Ryo, then he should be able to fight Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Liam Paro, Sabril Matias, all these other 40 pounders that are right there. He should be able to fight him. Pollo, Antoine Russell Jr., all those guys, like, they're all at 40 pounds. They're probably good fights right now. The only 35 pounder I want to see Tank against is Shakur Stevenson. So if he's not gonna fight him there, why not move up to 40? Shakur will move up to 40 eventually. You know, I I don't get it though. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, Devin Haney, Liam Paro, December. Like I said, I hope it's not pay per view because it's not pay per view worthy in my eyes as a fight. Liam Paro is not known enough to be on pay per view. Devin Haney doesn't do good on pay per view, so it's not going to be a good pay per view event. So whoever's thinking of making that pay per view, just don't save the network money, save everybody else money. Just pay these guys decent guarantees. Devin Haney's got to understand, man, he can't be getting paid big guarantees. Um, his value's gone down after Ryan Garcia fight, whether he likes it or not. I know it's a no contest. It's just the way it looked, man. People are not gonna unsee that. People are not gonna say, "Oh, it's a no contest," so I didn't watch Devin Haney get battered around the ring. That's just the fact of the matter. I don't think like Ryan Garcia is some world beater, but I just think like that night, a lot of us were shocked. A lot of us saw what we saw, and we can't unsee it. So it makes this fight here. I think even Devin Haney is probably going to be a underdog, a low underdog in this fight. I think so, and I'm not saying the bookies is going to be picking Pyro. I'm just saying they're looking at everybody's emotions. The money's going to come in on Pyro, and you know what? I'm going to put my money on Devin Haney because I think he's going to get back to doing what he does best, and that's using that jab, sticking it out, and really controlling the range, controlling the ring. And he's bigger, man. Pyro, I know him and Liam Pyro, they already got experience sparring. Sparring is one thing. We're not going to put all our merit in the sparring. But Liam Pyro is a great southpaw. And this is crazy because Devin Haney's been on this little southpaw streak. Obviously, again, Ryan Garcia, not one of those guys, but he's been on this little southpaw streak where I think he fought Lomachenko first, southpaw, and then Regis Prograis, southpaw. And then now Liam Paro, So he's been on this little streak of fighting southpaws. And hopefully Devin Haney could get back on his saddle, man, and win a fight. Because this is a good fight for him to be in. This is not it's not the typical fight that you just take off what people would say it's a devastating loss for Devin Haney. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see where he goes with that because to be honest, I like Devin Haney, man. I think he's a great fighter. I do. I think he's in a tough situation where he probably thought Ryan Garcia wasn't training, thought Ryan Garcia wasn't cheating, all these other things. And then for it to come out that, oh yeah, man, Ryan Garcia cheated, this and that and the third, it crushed him. You saw it crushed him. But let's take a look at Liam Powell, man, because I know he fought Montana Love on the Devin Haney card against Regis Prograis. I think that was co-main, I think so. But other than that, I don't really know, who Liam Powell's really beat. So like let's take a look and see. I know we heard a lot about Liam Powell when Shakur was getting ready for De Los Santos. A lot of people were saying that Powell was giving him good work, you know. Yeah, skip these. Let's get rid of these ads, man. On the screen here. Get out of here. All right. So yeah, just recently beat Sabril Matias. Oh yeah. And that was in May 15th for the IBF Super Lightweight title. Before that, the fight that got him there was on, like I said, the Chase Center on the undercard of Regis Prograis and Devin Haney. That was for the WBO title. Okay. So it looks like Liam Powell was going the WBO route because he's also fought for the WBO title here too against Brock Jarvis. Looks like that was in Australia. And then in Tampa Bay, Yomar Alamo, who's 20-1. Looks like Powell just got by him split decision win, and then Liam Paro was down in the first round. So he came off the canvas to win that fight. Okay. Okay, here we go. Australia. All right. So in his American debut, he was down on the mat and got up. Liam Paro's got 15 KOs, 25 fights, no losses. 28 years old, Southpaw. You know, that's what's up. Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely a formidable opponent for Devin Haney. That's for sure. Like he's got everything that we want to see Devin Haney get in there against. You know, he's an undefeated fighter, a current champion, young, 28, Southpaw, dangerous, got enough KOs, respectable power, checks all the boxes, man. You know, this is a I hate to say it, but this is a better fight than Cordina. And Cordina's a former champ too, so I'm not knocking on him. I'm just saying, shout out to Devin Haney for coming back and taking a real good fight, man. Most people won't do this at all. Like most people will just, yeah, I'll come back. I'll take a soft touch, confidence builder fight. You know, I just came off a loss where I was getting knocked down all over the ring. Not Devin Haney. He's right back in the deep waters against these sharks, man. Because Liam Paro is definitely one of those guys, man. He's a great fighter. You know, he beat Sabril Matias. He went in Puerto Rico into this man's home country. You know, this guy was named as a boogeyman at that point. He's saying that, you know, Devin Haney's a chicken. He's calling out all these other people. Matias is making fights while he's about to fight a fight. You know, it was just like, okay. Everybody was just like, man, what, Liam Powell just show up here to just collect a check? Like, is this what it is? But nah, he's a dog, man. He showed his full arsenal. He showed us everything in that fight. You know, he showed he's a real champion. And he really showed his boxing skill too, because he had the ability to keep Matias honest the whole fight. Like Sabril was not letting his hands go because shit was coming back, stuff was hitting him, and he was moving just enough that Sabril had to reset. And I think in the midst of him resetting is when Liam Paro was getting his shots in. So it really made him have to shell up. And he couldn't throw. He couldn't throw as much as he wanted to. And Sabril Matias was getting frustrated. Obviously, he ends up firing his coach. And I'm like, bro, like, it's not your coach. It's the way you fight. Like, I hate when these guys do that. Like, take responsibility, man. You didn't let your hands go because of something, obviously. And your coach, you've been fighting like this forever, flat-footed. So you can't blame your coach, man. This is you. This is who you are. Styles make fight, man. Like I love what listening to Blue today on Blue Blood Sports, and he was talking about like Vernon Forrest could never beat Mayorga. And it's, you know, Mayorga knocked him out all the time. And then Shane Mosley could never beat Vernon Forrest, but Shane Mosley was stopping Mayorga all the time, like twice I think they fought. And Shane Mosley beat the crap out of Mayorga, but he could never beat Vernon Forrest. It's just styles, man. Styles and the way these fights stack up. Sometimes guys just have your number, and guys just have you the style to beat you. You know, they just know what you're gonna bring, what you're gonna do, and they just know how to take advantage and beat that. So that's what that was, man. That's what I felt like that was. I thought that was Sabril Matias just ran into a stylistically bad matchup. That's what I feel like that was. And he probably needed better instruction, but I don't think his coach deserved to be fired. Not at all, man. No, I'm not gonna say all that because you know his coach did what he could do, worked with what he could work with. You didn't bring much to the table to start with, Matias. You know, you're just a strong fighter coming downhill. Excuse me, and that's just that. A lot of people just knew that if you got into a ring with a real elite boxer, it was gonna be a long night for you, man, because you can't cut the ring off. You rely on your power punching. You rely on guys to gas out. You get in there with a good enough athlete, a good enough puncher, respectable boxer. They're gonna use the ring to their advantage. They're gonna circle around you, and they're gonna pick you apart. And next thing you know, you're down like 4 rounds. And it's too late to come back. It's too late to spin the block and try to start winning these rounds because now you gotta knock the dude out. So it's like, oh man, that's what's going on. But it is what it is, man. I ain't got no problems with it. Liam Paro and Devin Haney is an excellent fight. I love it. I love that Devin Haney's coming back and he's fighting a formidable opponent. I know a lot of people wanted him to fight Isaac Cruz on his way back, but Isaac Cruz just came off a loss. So this looks better. This looks way better for Devin Haney moving forward. And it'll be interesting to see how he performs against Liam Pyro. He's going back to Australia. Like I said, where he won his first huge fight against George Kambosos. So it's a full circle moment for Devin Haney. He's returning back to a spot where he grew and became that star. So he gets another turn at that because let's be honest here, Ryan Garcia fight really hurt his stock. So all the Haney haters, they came out, man, when Ryan Garcia beat up on Haney like that. The Haney haters really showed out. They really showed up and they were loud and it was ugly, man. But that's boxing sometimes. You can't predict what people are gonna do. You can't predict what they're gonna say. You can't predict what they're gonna think, but you just gotta respect their opinion. This is boxing at the end of the day. You guys sign up to be entertainers. Comes with the territory. I know their team, they handled it pretty well, for the most part. Obviously Devin Haney got a little bit out of character once he realized the PED test, he felt cheated. And I think that's human nature, man. When you're so passionate about something and you feel like you've been cheated, yeah, you're gonna react a certain way. So, I'm glad that he's like he said he wanted to be out the ring for a year and wait for Ryan Garcia. I'm glad he just didn't do that because I didn't feel like that was gonna be beneficial to him. All it would do is prop up Ryan Garcia more and now Ryan Garcia, you can keep sitting out, man. Keep watching on the sidelines while Devin Haney beats great. And he'll fight in December. And I hope that he chases another belt. And he at the end of the day he doesn't need Ryan Garcia. But I don't think he needs that fight right away. I think they can get it popping at 147 after Haney goes around and tries to collect these belts. That'd be interesting to see. But because Ryan Garcia, I don't know if you guys check BoxRec, but he is listed as a welterweight right now. And he's listed at the number 2 welterweight in the world, which is crazy to me, considering that Mario Barrios is there, Brian Norman Jr. is there, Stanionis is there, guys who have been at 147, competed at 147 longer than Ryan Garcia. And this guy somehow, because he's weighed 143 twice, he's number 2. But that's why the stats, you can't believe them all when you see them. But Ryan Garcia, number 2 welterweight in the world, according to BoxRec. So take that how you want to take that. I don't agree with it, but I guess yeah, he's right. He hasn't really weighed 140 for like 1 or 2 fights. I think he came in at 140, and that was against like Javier Fortuna, which he brought up, and another fight, Tongo or whatever, to go. Yeah. So we'll see what Ryan Garcia does when he gets back. But as far as Haney might already be on his second unification belt by the time Ryan Garcia gets back. So it'll all be interesting to see at the end of the day. I do think that Devin Haney is making the right choice, not only fighting Liam Pyro, but getting back in the ring before the year's done, getting another fight in. This will be the second fight this year. The kid's extremely active, man, for his age. He continues to shine and look good. So shout out to Dev Dallas. And then Boots and Norman Jr. That fight. Apparently, um, Eddie Hearn put a date on it. They got to get it done before the 30th, or else they're moving on. I think that's fair. You know, The 30th obviously is about what? It's around 27, 3 days. They got 3 days to make that fight. I think they were close. So, but we just never know what's gonna go on, right? In those rooms. I think they were close to making the fight, but I hope it gets done, man. I hope Boots and Norman Jr. fight. Just from Norman Jr., the way he was talking, like he's willing to go to Philadelphia. And if he's willing to go to Philadelphia, they just want a little bit more money for their travel because they're coming over there with the belt. They're coming over there with the undefeated record. They're coming over there with something. They're not just showing up as a contender, showing up as a challenger. It's a unification belt. And here's where I'm a little confused with Bozianis and Eddie Hearn and everybody pretty much over at the boot side because they said they didn't want the Terrence Crawford fight because they want to undispute at 147. Okay. Terrence Crawford is not going to be in the game very long. We all know that. Like he probably's got like what 4 fights max left in him, maybe. I think he'll try to run it at 154, try to win all the belts there. So you as a boots guy, like you gotta understand, man, there's a window. Let's try to jump in it at least. Why not get the belt at 47 as fast as we can, which would fighting Norman Jr. We'd have two. And then who we go for Stanionis or Barrios. They got the other ones. So by end of next year, we have all four. If the plan goes right. But they may not even have another one by the end of this year because of the way this is sounding. Like it sounds to me like the Normans, they want the fight. They don't care about the business side. They just want to be compensated a little bit more for bringing a belt to the table, bringing some to the table and going over to Philly. Like they got no problems going over to Philly. They're not saying this needs to be on neutral grounds. We need to walk out at this spot. They're not saying that. You can have all the venue. You can have the stuff you want. You pick the gloves, whatever. We just want a little bit more money for coming over there. That's it. As a champion, Brian Norman Jr. is a full champ, so they're bringing a full belt over there. I think the least they could do is just give it to them. And I don't know how much they asked for. That's another question in itself. If they ask for too much, then yes, they're pricing themselves out. But I think they were pretty I like the approach, man, with them stepping up there saying that, yes, sir, what's going on, Claymore? Yeah, man, I'm gonna try to tap in with you later, bro. I see you going live. But yeah, man, I'm definitely thinking that Brian Norman Sr. made the right move by coming public with saying like, yeah, we got an offer. We did, but we countered because we didn't like what we saw. Like I love the fact that they came out and said that. Because right after that, you saw what Eddie did. He went in damage control mode. He said he made an offer to all the champs. Um, and then Stanionis, he had to backtrack, said, I didn't get no offer. Mario Barrios still hasn't answered. That I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't think he got an offer either. Because they're talking about him fighting Pacquiao. So I just think like Eddie Hearn, man, it should be easy for you to just counter their offer with a little bit more money. Like you don't have to give them what they want. But I'm sure if you ballpark it with them, they'll take the fight, because Senior and Norman Jr., they both sound like they confident, like they both could beat Boots. Like they're not talking like they're just gonna go in there and just collect the check, man. They talking about going in there and winning the fight. They don't sound like they scared of Boots. You know what I'm saying? So for Boots to just go out and say that they turned down the fight, I think he didn't get the information. There's miscommunication between the parties. The fight, probably the offer was turned down, but it doesn't mean that there wasn't a counter offer, meaning that, you know, they sent something back. They just didn't like the money, maybe. I think that's what it was. I don't think anything else persuade Norman Sr. into saying what he said on those lives to everybody. I do believe him when he says it's just the money. We just want a little bit more money. I really do believe him because you're going to Philadelphia. You're going as a champion. Um, yeah, that's the least you can ask for, man. If you're going in somebody else's backyard like that. It's not like you're asking him to come to your yard. That's a little different than you treat Boots a little different there. You give him a little bit more money. You play by a little bit different rules, but it is what it is, man. I think like at the same time, everybody got to get this fight going, man. You got to get this fight because we want to see Boots in a real fight, just like we wanted to see Virgil in a real fight. And then when we finally got Virgil in a real fight, Virgil, he didn't look like Mr. Knockout Artist Superman. He actually got put down twice without putting that guy down. So it is what it is, man. This is boxing. This is what it is. I'm not really concerned about it for the Boots team and for Brian Norman Jr. I think everything will be okay. I think we'll get the fight. Um, I think it's targeted. I think what did Rick Glazier say? I think he said November 7th or 9th. Anyways, he heard of some date. We gotta take those with a grain of salt too. All those rumors from everybody, but he is somebody who's in the industry, so I guess he got some credibility, right? So I think November 9th, he said. Let me just go check the calendar right quick if that falls on a weekend or not. But I believe he said November. Yeah, November 9th. So if it is November 9th date for Boots and Norman Jr., that means the promotion's got to start next month. Pretty much, they got to get 3 months promotion in, so they have to start next month. But at least we know when Boots brought Avenesia in there, it was a sold out event. So there is demand in Philadelphia for the Boots fight. So it'd just be up to, okay, if we're gonna put this on pay per view, we got to promote this fight well. So I think Boots and Norman Jr. probably is pay per view worthy as long as the undercard is pretty good. It's a unification belt. And some people are probably gonna be like, "Oh man, but you just said Haney and Pyro isn't pay per view worthy." Yeah, I said that just based off the fact that Haney hasn't done well at the pay per view office, and his stock has dropped, whether you want to believe it or not. And Liam Paro, they're saying he's not very popular in Australia to begin with, so the Australian fans may not even buy the fight. They want to see what he could do. So I think based off that, you got to kind of put a lot of Australian talent on the undercard. You got to make it so people want to come out and see it. But Boots and Norman, we know Boots is gonna sell in Philly. Like we know that now. It's not a question. A lot of people know Norman Jr. So as long as Eddie can make that undercard with some good names on it, it can sell pay per views. Like it's not gonna do crazy numbers, I don't think, but it can get it can get him in the talk, man. Get Boots some pay per view numbers, get him some more exposure. And we know Brian Norman Jr. is a really good, talented fighter. So I mean, even if Eddie and Top Rank can do a joint promotion card, ESPN and DAZN, hey man, you can get some of those young, talented Top Rank fighters on that card, man. I think it could happen. You know, I think it could really happen. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. Because Boots Ennis and his team, and then with everything that's just going on, it seems like Eddie Hearn doesn't want to budge, but we'll see. Chaos Sir, what's going on, my brother? Salute, salute, salute. Yeah, boxing talk up north, yes sir, all the way from Canada. Yeah, we trying to go worldwide. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. But yeah, Boots for sure. I want to see him in a fight, and just like Virgil, I want to see him go through a little bit of adversity, and I want to see him overcome it because I think like we haven't seen the full arsenal of Boots, just like we haven't seen the full arsenal of Tank Davis. It's because those guys haven't been pushed to that point. They ain't had to pull it all out yet. They ain't have to do all that, but they will, man, when they get in the ring with some dudes who are just as talented as them. I think Norman Jr. sparred with Boots like a number of times. So he already been in the ring with him. He understands Boots' tendencies, what he does right, what he does wrong. You seen him in the gym already. So they got their homework already filled out. They just gotta they gotta go into camp and do some things that Boots has never seen, and Boots has got to go into camp and do some things that, or pull out some things that Norman hasn't seen yet that he hasn't showed him. That's what they got to do and bring it to the show and see who could perform better under those lights. Because we had questions about Brian Norman Jr. until his last fight because he got dropped by Bokacek, I believe, a guy who came off a pro box loss. Norman Jr. got dropped to, but yeah, that fight was stopped, I think, because of a headbutt or something like that. But Norman Jr. against Santillan went into his backyard and beat him up. Just beat him up, man. Brutal KO, stopped him. And it was impressive in fight because that set him up with the WBO interim. And then obviously when Terrence Crawford brought Madrimov, he got elevated and makes him a full champion, gives him some status, and now Brian Norman Jr. is a real player at 147. Just like we got all the other players, Boots in is kind of like the guy everybody thinks is the king. Barrios has got a belt. Stanionis has got a belt. Norman Jr.'s got a belt. These guys got to fight, man. We got to see who's number one. 147 is definitely a division that's interesting enough. It's gonna keep us. It's gonna keep us talking for a bit. But at the same time, we all want to see Boots at 154. Like, let's be honest, man. We don't want to see him fighting against these guys because we believe he is what he's advertised as. But he's got to beat them all. That's true. He's got to get in the ring and fight these dudes, just like Virgil had to get in the ring and fight Sergey Bocek, and we saw how he looked. It's the same thing with Boots, man. You got to get in the ring with some better opponents, some top level guys, just to see what it is. Because you can fight all these people you want, Karen and all these other guys, but if you don't fight the top dogs, man, you can't call yourself the top dog. That's just how I feel. Like, only a certain point we can say you're a top dog, man. I think Boots, you got to get in the ring and fight those dudes. Fight them now. And then, yeah, Mr. Tank Davis, man. Where is the Tank the man? Like, I love Tank, man. But I hate the fact that his team told these fighters to stop calling them out. Like, you notice when those guys were calling Tank out, he was on Twitter just killing them. Like, he was in his Twitter bag, killing these dudes on Twitter. And I felt like that was good because, Tank's got that young fan base and he's got them older heads from the hood. He vibes with the culture and people mess with that talk you crazy and go in the ring and stop dudes. And I got kind of mad when Kenny Ellis was telling dudes to stop. Like, it was mostly Devin he was talking to when he said, Devin, stop talking about Tank. Excuse me. Said, keep Tank's name out your mouth. All right, now look, Shakur don't talk about Tank, and now obviously Shakur got to fight, but he was talking about Tank for a bit, stopped. Devin moved up, didn't talk about Tank. Nobody else calling out Tank. Sabril Matias not calling out Tank. Who's at 35? Like, Schofield is calling out Tank, but like, we know Schofield's still far away. He ain't even fought a real fight himself. Better yet, why he calling Tank out? Frank Martin got in there and got sparked. So, it just takes the excitement away from these Tank fights. Loma stepped out, and I felt like it was good when Tank was talking, man. He wasn't like in interviews talking. He was more like inside talking. And I'm like, all right, that's cool, man. Tank really out here. He telling Shakur, you on the list. He's saying you gonna get it. We're gonna fight Loma next. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want from Tank, man. This is what I've been asking for. Like, I always felt like, Tank can go all the way up to 47 and beat some 47 pounders because of his power. And I always felt like, man, it was his fans that was trying to save him. I never felt like it was him that was being like he don't want to get in the ring, even though what he said to Gilly was crazy to me, that he don't ask for these dudes. At the time he was with Floyd, and Floyd, Floyd liked to control shit. Floyd liked to be the man. But Tank Davis, it sounds like underneath this Amazon contract, he is taking his career by the horns, man. He has gotten in there with Frank Martin on his first fight of his deal, who's a formidable opponent in my eyes. Obviously, it's the first fight after being in jail, coming out. Okay, cool. That's a great fight for you to get your feet wet and get back in the game. I'm all right with that, Tank. Like, do what you got to do, man. But then, you kind of show up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna fight Isaac Cruz. What? We don't want to see that. Oh, Lomachenko. Now, yeah, Lomachenko's next. That's what he said. I was okay with the Lomachenko fight because I feel like Lomachenko, he just beat Kambosos pretty well. He stopped him. It's a name, I guess. I'm not gonna say it's the big win up for Lomachenko, but he beat Kambosos. He has a title. That's where I kind of saw it was a unification belt. Without the title, though, I probably would have been like, man, you know what, Tank? I think you got Lomachenko too late, man. You got him going out now. Like, come on. It's not what we want to see. But at the same time, I understand it. There's so many names at 35 that gonna make a real fight for the pay-per-view sellers, and Lomachenko is one of them. He'll sell well with Tank, you know. Shakur, we just don't know that yet because of his past performances. We don't know if he's done enough yet to convince the casual to watch him. So he's in question. Who else is at 35? Isaac Cruz. Like, I don't want to see that again. And I know Amazon don't want to pay Tank $40 million to fight a guy he already beat with one hand. So this is what I'm saying to people. Like, this is more about money at this point. Tank going forward has to make the money back for Amazon. They sign up for 200 million. We don't sign people to lose money. That's what these guys are saying. And somehow, some way, Al Heyman and them have convinced Amazon that Tank Davis is going to be a household draw. He's going to be worth $200 million. I think he is worth $200 million because of the way he sells at the gates. But you have to translate that into pay-per-view buys. And how do you do that? You got to put him in fights where, not only the people that love him are going to watch, the people that hate him are going to watch. People that you put him in there with an opponent that people think could actually beat him. And, you got to make a case for that guy. And Rio Venezuela is the front runner at 140. So they're going to paint it as Tank is moving up against 140 champ. Rio is a puncher. He's got some knockouts. He's got some good knockouts. I think the thing about Rio, though, is he's chinny. We've seen him go down from De Los Santos, get knocked out. So it's kind of, he's lost Cruz Colbert. What's going on, G5 Jeff? Appreciate you, bro. Y'all go check out G5 Jeff. He got a good channel over there, boxing. I believe he's from Philly too. So, he's a boots guy. But yeah, man, Tank Davis, we want to see him in them fights where he got to reach in his bag and show us that boxing skills. Because I know Tank's a good boxer, man. I know he's more than just a power puncher. I know he's a great boxer puncher. He just hasn't had to reach that far in to show us yet. He never had to do that much to show us that much. Now he kind of did in the Isaac Cruz fight because he had one hand. That's why he had to do that. But I want to see him against in there like a Shakur Stevenson, the dude he got to hunt down, cut the ring off, and strategically place into the certain parts of the ring for him to get to him. Because Shakur a cat, man. He can move. That's for sure. He's gonna try to stay out of the way of bombs. He's good that way, Shakur, man. He's gonna stay just out of range. He understands range on another level. But I think a dude like Tank Davis could definitely walk him into something. And that'd be incredible to see. Because I hold Shakur up so high too as a boxer, like skill level and everything that he does. So for a dude like Tank to walk him into something, this would just show you the mental of Tank Davis, man, and how smart he is in that ring. And I think he relates so much to people, to the casual fan, because he does what they want to do, right? The fight's not gonna go 12. He punches, knocks people out. That's what people want to see. They want to see violence. I'm a little bit more technical guy. I like boxers. That's why I like boxing. I like to see dudes surgically remove other guys. And I always told people a dude that knows he can beat on you for 12 rounds is worse than a dude that can just stop you. Because the dude that can stop you, he's gonna stop you and that's over. But that guy that's just beating on you, he sometimes is gonna carry you in the fight to beat on you some more. That's worse, man. That's way worse. You taking punishment at that point. Where if you get knocked out, man, you just out. And you get up, you may not know where you at, but at least that's done, right? It's all over. But for 12 rounds, 3 minutes, you were getting beat up on, punched on. It breaks you mentally at another space, bro, that you don't want to be at, because it you're gonna submit eventually. And as a fighter, you never want to submit. That's your worst nightmare. Is to say I quit, no mas. That is just the worst thing, to be a quitter. And we all ridiculed Ryan Garcia for that, for being a quitter. We all said it. Got hit by that body shot, and we're like, yo, Ryan quit, man. He didn't even try. Like, he got up 10. He was fine. And we saw how that looked. So when guys are doing that, beating up on dudes like that for 12 rounds, that's why I like watching Terrence Crawford, because sorry about that. He just break people down at another level, and you see it. You see it in their body language, you see it in their face, that they see him coming. They know what's happening, man. And I know that sounds pretty insane, but there's beauty in the violence, man. There is. I trust me. That's why as boxing fans, I feel like we crazy people sometimes, but there is beauty in the violence, man. That's for sure. It's an emotional sport. Anybody who's never been to a boxing event, if you can handle a little bit of blood, I suggest you just go and feel the room, man. If you're in a room where there's a lot of supporters for a fighter or fighters, you're gonna feel that emotion, especially if those fighters are going through something like adversity. If they getting beat up in the fight, you're gonna feel the fans in the room. You're gonna feel the room, bro, the tension. And it's an incredible roller coaster feeling if you're into that. But boxing is an absolute thrill. It is, man. In the ring, outside the ring, everywhere. But yeah, sorry that I'm bouncing off topic. Tank Davis, man. I definitely I definitely feel like, yeah, man. What's going on, man? I just went back over to Instagram. Got Martin Brown, man. Appreciate you in the building. Congratulations to your son, Joseph Brown. He looked really good in his fight, man. I'm happy for the kid getting back in action. On that Floyd Mayweather versus John Gotti. Y'all check out Joseph Brown, man. Go follow him. I think his handle's real Joseph Brown. Great kid, 17 years old, extremely talented. From BC, Canada, man. He's doing big things, man. Go check him out. Yeah, man. Yeah, boxing is definitely poetry in motion. It is, man. It is a real art, and unfortunately, people have not always looked at the sport that way. They've always looked at it like a punk sport, and people in there are troublemakers. But no, man, like that's boxing saved a lot of people, a lot of people. But yeah, Tank Davis, man. It'll be interesting to see who he fights next. I mean, if Tank can go to 140, I was thinking about it too. Like Teofimo Lopez, he doesn't have a dance partner right now. I, I don't know why they're not calling out Tank, man. If he's talking about fighting at 140, why not go try to entertain that? I mean, you know, Bob Arum. See, Bob Arum, uh, you could tell he's not really running Top Rank, because they've been doing lots of business lately with everybody. So those guys in that room are obviously the younger guys. Why not Tio just go up there and say, yo, man, I think it's Todd LaBeouf that runs it now. Yo, Todd, man, Tank ain't got to fight. Yo, could we reach out to them and see what they got on the table? At least see if we could throw our name in the hat. Even though what Leonard Ellerby say, there is no hat. But you got to see if you can, man. Like, I just don't understand Tio. He's always talking about big fights and how he should be in big fights, man. Well, Tank Davis is talking about going to 140. Why not go over there and fight him, man? Just go to PBC. Where are you gonna fight at? What are you gonna fight on? You don't really have a date. You don't have nothing going on, so you might as well just jump on over there and hey, I'm gonna go ahead and fight Teofimo Lopez, Tank and Teo. Bring the Hispanics out, bring the blacks out. It's always a good party when we out, man. You know what I mean? So I think it'd be a hell of a fight too. It's got a storyline to it. Now Tank is fighting the guy that beat Lomachenko. Tank is fighting the guy who's won multiple belts in divisions. He's fighting a guy who wakes up for fights. So now people are gonna be like, yo, which Teo is showing up? Is it Sandor Martin Teo? Or is it Josh Taylor Teo? Is he stepping up to the challenge? For Teo, he gonna make some good money, man. He finally gonna make some M's, which he's always been talking about. How much money he makes. Well, now you're in a Tank fight. You're gonna make some money. Get some exposure that you need. And Teo's gonna talk crazy, man. He's gonna talk that wild stuff about Tank. They're gonna get up there, and I don't think Tank or Teo's gonna let Tank bully him at no press conference like Frank Martin did. So it's all around. It's good to see. For Teo and Tank. I still think Tank beats Teo, but I think it's a good fight. I think early on, Teo will try to, show Tank that he's here. He won't just be backing up the whole fight. I think he'll push the pace. But we'll see, man. I think Teo will go the Ryo route just because it's more in-house. But like I said, they gotta find him opponents that they can make money back on. Because when you give somebody $200 million, you're not planning to lose that. You're planning to make it back and some. So they gotta make money, right? Do you think Ryo and Tank could generate more than what would they pay Ryo? Like what? 3 million maybe? So 43 million. And I don't even know if that's including tickets. I don't think Amazon gets a part of that. So we're talking about pay-per-view buys. I don't know. I don't know if they can do that. 43 million in pay-per-view buys with Ryo and Tank. And like this is no slight to Tank. This is like pay-per-view is kind of on a downward spiral. And I think it's because the dance partners. It's not Tank's fault, man. Like Floyd Mayweather had the right dance partners at the right time. It was all timing with him. And now it kind of seems like those dance partners are at 140. Those guys have moved up. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, it's up there. Liam Paro, I think it's still a good fight for Tank. Even though it wouldn't sell good pay-per-view. But it's a good fight. But even at 47, Barrios rematch for the WBC welterweight belt, Tank. I mean, there's definitely things there that say it could cover, right? Okay, yeah, Matt. 200,000. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, that's a ballpark. And you know what? If it's 200,000 at what would be top price $80, then yeah, you're looking at you've made back your 40 million and some. I think so. So yeah, it's definitely like I said, the dance partners have to be very, very good at this point. We have to think Tank's gonna lose in order for us to buy it. Because the people that love Tank are already gonna buy it. But you need the people who believe that the other guy can win. Like that's why Ryan Garcia, he has a cult following. So his cult following believed that he could beat Tank Davis. Even when all of us and the fans, real boxing, knew that wasn't going down, man. That wasn't going down. Let me just do quick math. 200,000 times 89. Okay, that covers. That's only less than 20 million. Yeah, but then I'm pretty sure like they can make the money off other stuff, the venues and the tickets. That's what Tank is great for. Dude sells crazy ticket numbers at the gate. And that's why I feel like he needs to go in stadium fights. That's why I said like Tank should be in stadium fights because that dude can sell out the stadiums, man. But we don't know. We don't know why they're not putting him in stadiums. I guess the casinos are probably offering more money. That's why they do that. The casinos are probably keeping them there. It's the casinos, they got the money, man. They want people to come and spend money. They want people to be there for all fight week, stay at their venues, and just spend all your money on slots, and tables, and drinks, you know, for the fight. We're at the stadium. It's just a 1 day thing, really. So the stadium is probably not going to offer as much money as the casinos are. So, but it's interesting, man. I always felt like Tank could draw like 30K, 1,000 people easily, even 40. I think he can. Like people are that obsessed about him. His following is just crazy online. Like you say one bad thing about Tank, man, you get kicked out of some of these YouTube chats, man. It's wild. You better not talk bad about Tank in some of these rooms. These people just lose their mind. But no, I gotta keep it real, man. Tank ain't fought nobody. And you know what? I'm not saying he ain't fought nobody in the sense of like he ain't never been challenged because his career is pretty good. I definitely like I don't even know if I can't make him a first ballot Hall of Famer right now because I don't even know how many belts Tank's won because he's held a Reggie belt for so long. So I don't even know how many like real belts he got. And that's another issue in boxing. There's too many belts, man. We gotta make a stance and just say stop adding these belts because y'all confusing the fan. But yeah, I don't even know how many belts he got now. I know he's won. The one he's got right now is the Super WBA, and like he won the Super. I don't think it is. So man, it's kind of like, man, what the heck is going on here? Like, but we'll have to see where we go with that. It's really is just kind of like one of those things where like, man, is he even a three-weight champ? Like, yeah, he might be a three-weight champ though. That's what it really might be. But shout out to Tank Davis. One thing's for certain, he's gonna sell out any arena that he's in, man. That's the truth. I'm not um I'm not gonna hate on Tank Davis for any of that. He gonna do him, man. And he should because Tank Davis is making that bread right now. But at the same time, we all just want to see him. We just want to see him in a big fight, a real fight. And when I say a real fight, I just mean somebody who's dangerous, who's gonna present some real risk. And we feel like there's a few names that are there. We feel like, Devin Haney could do that. We feel like Tio could do that. I feel like Shakur could present that. But those fights will happen eventually. They just may not happen, now. But they'll happen, man. I think so. I think we'll get those fights, especially with Turkey Alashik around. Um, I know Tank said send two Ferraris, but just the fact that he reached up to Tank tells you he wants the best fights, man. He wants the best fighters. So money talks, man. So we might see Tank Davis on some rider season card once his contract is done with Amazon, because let's be honest here, if the contract flops, who else gonna give you 200 million or even remotely close to 40 million? Nobody. But yeah, man, I think Tank is good, man. I think he's at a place now where he's just focused on boxing. You know, he doesn't. You see him. He's not really hanging out with the crowd. Like he's not really out with Adrian Bronner anymore. He's kind of like made his life around boxing because you can just see it. He doesn't blow up in weight anymore. He used to blow up in weight all the time, like real bad. He used to look like the Pillsbury Doughboy after every fight. Now it seems like he's not blowing up. He's staying ready. He's staying somewhat in shape. So now his camps are not fat camps. His camps are literally just sharpening the tools to just destroy. And that's good, man. That means he's focused. He's coming in kind of that part of the career where like Mayweather was when he was like just doing everything crazy, right? Before everybody, right? 5, 6, 4 in the morning. Mayweather's running, hitting the pads, doing the old school drills with the axe, hitting the wood, cutting the wood. Mayweather was like he was on a different level when it came to the work, man. And I think as Tank gotten older, he's realized that himself that he can separate himself from the pack by just outworking everybody. And yeah, I think he'll get there, man. I think he's really good at what he does. I think he's a really good, talented fighter. I just wanted to see him in some adversity, and some people are like, "Man, why do you want to see that?" I'm like, "Because I want to see survival Tank, man." Like I feel like some dudes really like Tio, he really shines when he's under pressure. And I mean under pressure, like when we're not picking him to win the fight. He comes out and performs his best. Like those are some of his best fights have been when we thought he was gonna lose. And I love that, man. I hate that he drops the ball when he fights anybody else. But yeah, man. Shout out to him for that. Yeah, yo, where's everybody at, man? Where y'all located at? Just wanted to see where the crowd's coming in from. A couple people here on Instagram. What up, Instagram? IG Live. Appreciate all my YouTube people. Make sure y'all smash that like button when you come in, please. Appreciate y'all. Subscribe to the channel. I see my boy Claymore Rain is on right now. I might jump over there and holler at him for a little bit. Yeah, I got my guy Matthew. Shout out to you, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, man. I hope Tank stays out of trouble too. I think you will though. I just think it's like, man, you making all this money. Last thing you want to do is get yourself caught up with something stupid. But sometimes it's just the people you're around with that could really make it bad for you. You don't have your best interests. But yeah, yo, I'm gonna sign on off, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Make sure y'all smash the like button on your way out. Share the video. Tell a friend and tell a friend. And yeah, man, we'll definitely chop it up later on. I'll probably be back next week sometime. Do another video or whatever. Some big news comes out. Like I said today, the big news was Devin Haney. Paro. Apparently it's going down December. So that should be a good fight, man. But yeah, y'all enjoy your night. Tomorrow's hump day, so get through the work week, man. Have y'all special time. Have a good weekend. Hope everybody's good, man. Peace.